Hello and welcome to Move or Improve with Debbie. I'm Debbie Miller, host of the show, and I'm going to talk today about a sensitive situation for a lot of people. When you are going to sell your home, or, even if your house gets too cluttered and you've got stuff and you just want to get rid of it, but you're not sure if you're going to retire and move yet, it's still a good idea to get rid of stuff. So I'm going to talk today about things that you can sell when you retire and how to get rid of them. So here's what happens to your possessions when you retire. And my motto is don't pay a mover to transport something to your new location if you're not going to ever use it again. And I believe that if you're not using the things in your home, get rid of them because you're not going to start using it more by shoving it in a closet. So the first thing that people decide is to sell your home. Many retirees decide that the house they bought when they were young and to raise the kids just doesn't work for their new lifestyle. So one of the key decisions you'll make is deciding where you want to live. And you may want to sell your most valuable asset, your home, and use the proceeds to buy a smaller place or with a better floor plan. And a lot of people I have as clients buy something bigger because they just want a different lifestyle, a different footprint because they've lived in smaller, cramped quarters with the kids, and now they want to be able to enjoy the home for themselves. So that's not unusual. You can sell your house and use the proceeds to rent a place and put the rest into savings. You can also take out an equity line of credit and hold on to the house and rent it out so you have income, and then use the equity line of credit to buy another one, put a down payment on. It just depends on what your financial situation allows. And it's okay to repurpose your existing place by renting out some rooms that you no longer use because it creates income for you as you get older. Yeah, you may need to add a main level bedroom and bath if your house is older and it doesn't accommodate the new lifestyle that you're looking for. The amount that you need to do is really dependent on your budget and what needs to be done to make your home safe. And I've talked in other podcasts on financing and remodeling and how to hire contractors to do the work. You can move out by selling. You can move out during the sale, but before you settle, or you can move out after the sale and rent back. So there's different ways to handle the sale of the home. One thing you probably won't need as much in retirement is work clothes. So if you're retired or even semi-retired, you won't need as many dress clothes or suits and ties. You can save one or two and consign the rest or sell them online at sites like Poshmark and ThredUp. That's ThredUp. And there's plenty of other sites as well. One to consider that I like is Varage Sale, and not garage sale, but it's V as in Victor, ARAGESALE. The selling is done online. You don't have the hassle of preparing for a garage sale and having strangers to bargain with and lugging everything outside and tagging it. It's much easier to use Varage Sale, so check into it. You're probably going to want to sell your exercise equipment if you're moving to a community that has a centralized clubhouse with a pool and fitness center. Then you probably won't want to take your exercise equipment with you because it's too expensive to transport it, and the equipment at the new place will be state-of-the-art and someone else's problem to maintain. So you really don't need your exercise equipment. And how often do you use it? I mean, if you say, oh, I'm going to get my exercise, and then you buy a treadmill but don't run on it consistently, then it's really not doing you any good. Another thing you might want to consider, it depends on where you move and what your circumstances are, but you can sell your car. Do you want the expense of insurance, gasoline, maintenance, and more? You can do a rideshare service, public transportation to get around. And if you want to travel, you can rent a vehicle for the length of time you'll be gone. Savings on gasoline and maintenance and property tax, personal property tax can be huge. And a lot of places you drive around in a golf cart, so who really needs a car? The other thing to do is to sell your furniture. Now, I've seen too many retirees who insist on paying a mover to transport their furniture to another location. Leather sofas in hot places like Florida don't fit in. If you sell your furniture, you can put those proceeds toward buying new pieces for your new home that will fit the area. And you can have them delivered to your new home and thereby save some money. Chances are good that the new floor plan will be very different from the one you're leaving. So the sofa and chair that look great in the family room now may not look so good when you get to where you're going. Of course, it helps to have a floor plan ahead of time so you can plan everything out and figure out what can you really take with you. So get that floor plan for your new place, and then you can shop for the furniture in your new location and have it delivered to you there. I've visited many Goodwill thrift stores in Florida and other retirement-heavy states. They have loads of furniture that people had to donate because it didn't fit their new lifestyle. You can sell your furniture through Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. You want to take quality photos, though, and give it a description with details that make someone want to buy it. So take the front and the back of the sofa, make sure you show the areas where the cat scratched through the upholstery, and then if it doesn't sell, you can throw it in the trash. Even Goodwill is getting particular about what they will and won't take anymore. Next thing to consider selling is your old computer. You may be ready for a new computer with more memory, a faster working drive, or you may have one that's collecting dust and you could collect cash for it. You can sell your computer using Best Buy with its trade-in service, receive a gift card for the value. Another option is an online marketplace called Flipsy, Flipsy, and these places will take the old computers, they'll refurbish them. A lot of times they'll donate them to charitable groups that need them for people who don't have any access to a computer and may need it. So you're doing a good thing like that as well. And they will scrub them and clear off the information that's on them before they do anything. Selling your antiques. This may be more of a challenge than other things to sell because you have to determine the value. Then you have to find a dealer who will purchase your items, and that can be tricky and take some extra time. And you got to keep in mind that unless it's an heirloom or a really valuable piece, a dealer is not going to pay you what you think it's worth because the dealer has to transport it back to the store, mark it up to sell and make a profit. So if you're thinking you can sell it to a dealer for full value, you need to think again. You really should consider getting an appraisal on valuable items, not only for tax purposes, but for remembering an item. I know a number of clients, I've taken pictures of their items that they wanted to remember and then make a little scrapbook. Shutterfly has that capability, those kinds of things. So it's nice to have to keep as a memento of what you used to own. But it's just harder to sell antiques because the people who would normally buy antiques already have antiques, and the younger generation doesn't want antiques. They are into Crate and Barrel and Pottery Barn and things like that. And a lot of times, if you think you're going to give your children the dining room set and table and chairs, they've already got one or they don't use it themselves. So it'll take a little extra doing, but you can research it and you can find someone who would consider buying it. But don't forget, you won't get what you think it's worth. You'll get what the dealer or the buyer is willing to pay. Another big ticket item that a number of people don't think about is sell your luggage. Are you going to travel when you retire? Well, that's good. You should. But if you have several pieces of older luggage, you might want to think of getting rid of it if it doesn't meet the current TSA flight standards. It's not going to do you any good to go on a plane unless you're going on a long cruise, and then you might want to hold on to it till you get back. But the newest styles are on wheels, and that makes it so much easier to move through an airport, and they have all kinds of fancy stuff now. The other thing you're going to want to sell is unused sports equipment. If your skis have spent more time in your garage than they have on the slopes, think about selling them. If you're moving to a warmer climate, but you still want to ski on vacation, you can rent skis when you get there. You don't have to lug yours on the plane. You want to sell unused electronics. Now, if you don't watch your CDs or DVDs anymore because everything is streamed, you can get rid of them. You can sell CDs and video games and Blu-rays using declutter, and it's DECLUTTR. There's no E in the clutter. All you have to do is scan the barcodes of the discs that you don't want, and you ship them to Declutter, and Declutter will pay you using PayPal, or they'll send you a check or deposit the proceeds directly in your bank account. And presto, in a matter of minutes, you've taken care of a big item. There are other things to think about selling, like your kitchen appliances. Now, if you own a pressure cooker, a big mixer, a juicer, or many of the other smaller appliances, will you really use them in your new home? Chances are that if you haven't used them at least in a year or more, you're probably not going to use them in your new home. And if you're planning on aging in place, many small appliances can clutter up the kitchen that could be used for other things. A lot of people just have Instapot or convection ovens, and they go out to eat, or they just don't eat as much as they used to, and you don't have to entertain the kids and friends coming over. You can go out to eat, so you don't have to have all these appliances. Save the ones that are most useful for you, like when the grandkids come, if you want to make cookies, you can save your mixer and things like that. But really, if you haven't used them in a year or more, you can sell them. And then you can always buy one again down the road if you change your mind and decide to become a gourmet chef during retirement. Another thing you're going to probably want to sell is your glasses and fine china. Do you really need 12 sets of china? I had a client once who had 12 complete sets of china, had really very few places to store them, and they were moving to a smaller location. But chances are strong that you're not going to be doing the same type of entertaining that you used to do. Thanksgiving dinners for all the family, get your adult children to do the cooking. Dinners for you, fine. But when you have friends over, consider going out to eat so nobody has to clean up. There's a company called Replacements Ltd, and they will buy china and fine glassware. You just fill out the information online, replacements.com, and you tell them the make and the condition of the china. You can take pictures, and you can send it to them if you need to. You can also go in person. They're down in North Carolina. They'll send you the amount that they are willing to pay you for it. Now, it's hard to sell china and glassware to the younger generation since they rarely sit down to eat like that. And other people your age already have their china, and so it may take a while to sell. And Replacements may buy it, but for a much lower price than what you were anticipating. So, but you don't need to pay a mover and risk having it get broken if you're going to move to a new location. And, pick one nice set of china and use it for your everyday dishes. Don't rely on the cheap stuff. Just use the fancy dishes for every day and pick your favorite pattern. Another thing you can sell is your power tools. If you're moving to a retirement community, chances are strong that in the community center, they may very well have a workshop with all the latest and greatest power tools. Storing a bandsaw does not make sense. And I did have a lady one time who had a beautiful woodworking shop in the basement of her home. And it turned out that the community she was going to needed the pieces that she had. And so she was able to take them with her and put them in their workshop so that everybody could use them, but she didn't have to worry about storing them or selling them because they were expensive. So it's an option to think about. So you want to ask yourself these questions as you sort through your belongings. Number one, when was the last time you used that item or that piece of clothing? Has it been a week, a month, a year, longer? Is it seasonal? Well, you don't need a heavy parka in a warmer climate